How to achieve this result. If you want to achieve results like this in your clinic, there are multiple elements that you need to understand and apply, but they're all simple when you know. That's what I'm going to cover in this YouTube show, is the process that I went through to guide a patient to get a much better result than she was actually expecting or asking for. It always starts, as I always say, with the consultation. You first have to establish what it is that your patient actually wants, which is often different to what they ask for. Remember, you are the aesthetic practitioner. You're the expert on faces, but they are the expert on themselves. So they often will turn up and ask for something that's on the right lines, but because they aren't trained like you are, they may ask for the wrong treatment or a partially correct treatment instead of for the full package that's going to deliver the thing they really desire most of all. So the conversation with Alicia was key. I always say there are 3 elements in the consultation, 3 diagnoses you need to make. The Trifactor diagnoses. These are the aesthetic diagnosis, the anatomical diagnosis, and the psychological diagnosis. It starts with the psychology. What is the patient after? This is a young woman in the prime of her life who wants to feel amazing, go out, be a bit more extrovert, connect with more people, form relationships so that she can actually build a life better because of the empowerment given by good appearance. Not just appearance, but the confidence that you have through believing that your appearance is good. Remember that psychological and social health is an interface between how people receive you, but also how you feel when you are in front of people. And that's how we are trying to empower our patients. I need to understand that Alicia really wants to be more beautiful. She happened to choose lips, but there might be more things I could do when I understand what her primary goal is. So remember, Alicia only came in asking for a lip treatment. So how on earth did we end up treating her chin, her nose, and her lips? Well, it all came down to starting with the real outcome she wanted, which was to feel gorgeous. She didn't come out with those words. You have to tease them out, but essentially, that's what most people would like if you can offer it to them. When you can start with that point, it starts to become appropriate to talk about other elements of the face. Remember, it's deeply inappropriate to talk about elements of the face that you have not been invited to talk about. So often a good consultation is about opening up the patient so that they are open to hear about other ways of improving their appearance. And not many people realize this, and they feel awkward about giving the right advice because they haven't learned the sequence. Because I'd learned how to do this, I was then able to recommend some different things to Alicia, and she would feel entirely like I was on her side the entire journey, because that's what I really was trying to do. How do I make this young woman feel fantastic, go out, connect with more people using the treatment that I do? And that's what we came up with. Okay, so going into a facial analysis, the first thing we need to do is remember what our goal is. With the consultation, we established that the patient wants to feel more beautiful, more positive. It's much broader than just wanting her lips done. It's just that that's what she concluded would meet her goals. But I do have an official invitation to talk about her full face because she gave me a more holistic goal. So the first thing I do when doing a facial analysis is point out the positives. So have a look at what her strengths are. She has fantastic eyebrows. The defining points of the face here are strong, so cheek, periorbital ridge. This transition here is a key part of beauty, that you have a strong underbrow reflection, which she has. Then we want almond-shaped eyes, which I think she has, even though she's added a bit of makeup to it. It's still one of her strengths. The high point of her cheek is where it should be, right up here on the line between the root of the helix and the alar base. And she has good cheek volume. The apex of the cheek is the most dominant part of her face, although you can see more of it on this side. So this is what you want in terms of the mid face and the upper face. She's doing really well. Smooth contours in her forehead, no lines and wrinkles. So I can now move on to the lower face, which is really where all the action is, because when you look at the overall proportion of her face, the lower face is relatively small. Because she has these strong eyes and eyebrows, the lower face is noticeably smaller. And this is also evidenced by the fact that the jowl here is competing against the chin. So the chin is higher than this aspect of her jowl, which you'd see also from the side. So I need to, in order to harmonize and make her more beautiful, the chin is a key area where we need to take more control and make the chin more dominant. It's a very easy way in most people. Secondarily to the cheeks, the chin is an easier way to make most people more beautiful. If you notice that more beautiful people have chin projection that is parallel with the nasion here. If you look from the side, we can't quite see it in this image, but the idea is the same. Then we know we can project it outwards, but you can also project it downwards. But this then makes the case for lips much stronger because her lips are relatively in proportion. I would still say they're small to her chin, but if you're going to make her chin bigger, it's going to help with the jowl. But I also then definitely need to make her lips dominate more in a vertical plane. So they need to become taller, more vertical height in order to match her chin. So the overall treatment plan becomes to project the chin outwards and down, so anteriorly and inferiorly, and then to increase the vertical height of the lips. And then I would also want to harmonize the chin with the jowl. There's very little here, but you can see a little step inwards. So this is cheek fat here, which is meeting an area of emptiness here. And if I can make these two connect together more harmoniously, then she has a better jawline and lower face, which then terminates in the apex of the chin. If I draw her fat pads on as I picture them, we have the mental fat pad, there's a nasolabial fat pad, there's the middle cheek fat pad, and the lateral cheek fat pad. This fat pad here is outcompeting these fat pads. This is an easy way to explain it to your patient. So my injections need to accommodate for that. So I would be adding volume here, adding volume here, and then we also decided consciously to respect her dimple and not to remove it completely. So the volume therefore becomes restoring the chin's fat pad, projecting it outwards, and then a lip treatment to increase vertical height and some of the contours and shapes of the lips. We also did a small tweak to her nose, which was because it was a small change in the angle, and it's a very easy way to beautify someone is just to perfect that so that it becomes a straighter line. And you can see all of this in the after picture. Let me also quickly mention the mentalis. So this here is a dimple that is caused by a split in the mentalis. So there's actually a division. Remember, the mentalis comes from its origin on the bone here and then angles downwards and inferiorly and then inserts into the skin. And then it's pulling upwards. So it's the only muscle the only part of the face that can actually be pulled upwards as you get older. And replacing the volume here with the cheek fat is one of the ways that we can resist that muscle, but also simply getting underneath the chin here with a bolus of product will also pull the muscle out, and it also then causes some dampening because the muscle effectively has a mechanical blocker against it. The filler is now in the way. It is unable to contract as easily, and this can have a knock-on effect of relaxing the muscle, the DAO, laterally. So you just get a slight relaxation of this complex because this muscle is no longer pulling down and this muscle is no longer pulling up, because the filler is dampening those two effects. And that is partly what causes the chin to look better in the after picture. Those of you who've been following me for a while will know that everything I do must now fit under the longevity lens. So how is this going to help our patients live a longer and healthier, happier life? Well, the key is to realize that our face is a tool for human connection. When people feel confident, they engage differently and they do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. And this is really what we're after. It's not so much about how the patient looks, it's more about the behavior and the way they can form relationships. That's our outcome. So this patient gave us a lovely story after her treatment of how she had changed her behavior. She had been out shopping, she had bought a whole range of new lipsticks, she had connected better with her partner because she'd felt more confident. So ultimately what we're doing is supporting a young female who's building relationships that may last an entire lifetime and may help her and her family live a healthier, longer life. Not many people think about aesthetics that way, but that's actually what's going on when you help someone feel more confident, do more in their life. So this is the longevity lens I suggest that you talk to your patients through, because it removes a lot of the stigma and the battle that patients face when choosing to control aspects of their appearance. If you want to learn more about anatomy and find out how you can use it in your consultation, or if you're a trainer to help other clinicians, then make sure you click on the link below this video to sign up.